So you are thinking about leaving Los Angeles and moving to the Marietta Temecula Valley. Is that a good idea? What are the lifestyle differences of these Southern California areas? There are a lot of differences, like a lot. I'll break it down for you. Hi, I'm Jessica with the Genung team in Real Broker, and I make these videos to help those of you that are not overly familiar with the Marietta Valley. My goal is to help you grow in your knowledge about what life is like here. I am married to Chris. We are a husband and wife realtor team. We have 2 boys, ages 6 and 8, and a new baby named Jackie, along with a border terrier named Zoe, who was our first baby. She is 14 now. As I said, a big part of our real estate business is helping folks who often find us on this YouTube channel relocate to our area. There are a handful of locations that the bulk of our clients are moving from. LA is one of them, and that is what today's video will focus on. Other areas our clients are coming from are going to be Orange County and San Diego, which are neighboring areas that have a higher cost of living, of course. LA, San Diego, and Orange County are the more obvious areas that our clients are moving from. A few not so obvious places that a lot of our clients are coming from include cities like Seattle, Washington, and Portland, Oregon, to escape the dreary weather. Seasonal depression is a common phrase I hear in my initial talks with those clients. We get a lot of clients from other cold weather areas such as Chicago and back east. I have clients currently moving from Cincinnati, Ohio. I have another one coming from Wisconsin. I had a Canadian family close on a Murrieta home a few weeks ago. So a lot of folks are moving here to ditch the cold and snowy weather. But for today, let's talk about LA. I lived in LA County while I was in college and have spent a key part of my life there after college working. I lived right on the border of LA and Orange County, so I know from firsthand knowledge what the quality of life is like there. I am going to break it down into 2 categories. If you move to the Marietta Valley, here is what you might miss about living in LA, and here is what you will definitely not miss. I'm going to start with a couple of things about LA that you will not miss. I could easily make this a video commercial of Murrieta, but don't worry, there are certainly positives to LA, and we are going to get to those after the first couple of negatives. The first thing you will not miss is the homeless problem in LA. LA has a much bigger problem managing the homeless crisis than Murrieta. We do have some homeless issues in Murrieta, which I notice in the shopping centers on occasion, but we don't have any encampments that I'm aware of, and definitely not like LA and San Diego as you drive through the cities and you see the sidewalks and the freeway overpasses and how they're just lined with tents. There was a slight but noticeable uptick in homelessness in Murrieta during the COVID lockdowns. I think many of them fanned out from LA because of the strict LA lockdowns. Murrieta didn't have as strict of lockdowns back then, but as I mentioned, there are no encampments in Murrieta that I'm aware of or see. I credit that to our city management and the Murrieta Police Department. Murrieta has a lot of outreach programs for the homeless. Just today, I was driving past the Ralph's shopping center near my house, and there was a homeless man sitting on the curb at the entrance to the shopping center. Sure enough, there were 2 men talking with him, and one had a shirt on that said CityNet. CityNet is a nonprofit subcontractor that the city of Murrieta has hired to do street outreach and connect with emergency shelters. Another group doing awesome work in partnership with the police department is called Project Touch, which has emergency shelter beds, transitional housing, and they also provide food, clothing, and transportation services. Project Touch is a faith-based organization. The Murrieta United Methodist Church is another good example. They have a food pantry open every Friday. I could do an entire separate video on what Murrieta is doing to try and manage the homeless situation, but that will be for another day because it's extensive. Murrieta PD has a detailed 5-post series on their Facebook page if you want to learn more in the meantime. Home prices are the second thing you will not miss about living in LA. It's obviously much more expensive to buy a home in LA versus Murrieta. The median sales price of a single-family home in LA County is $950,000 versus $669,000 in Murrieta as of the making of this video. That is around $300,000 more expensive than LA than it is in Murrieta, and that is just the median. Naturally, if we are looking at some of the more desirable areas of LA, like the beach cities, you are looking at much, much more. When I was younger, I would visit friends and go out in Manhattan Beach, so I was curious to see the median sales price there, and it is a whopping $3.8 million, so no surprise that your money will go go a lot further in Murrieta for a home purchase. Let's talk about the median household income. LA's housing is so much more expensive, so they obviously make more income, right? That would make sense. But that's not the case. Median household income in LA County, according to the Census Bureau, is a little bit over $83,000.
What?
Median household income in Murrieta is over $106,000. I was actually surprised to see the median income in Murrieta higher than LA because LA has a notoriously higher cost of living. LA County is actually below the median household income for California, which is a little bit over $91,000. Now contrast that to one of the most desirable areas of LA, Manhattan Beach, that I mentioned earlier. The median household income there is $187,000, which is much more than Murrieta. I actually would have guessed that it would have been higher considering the median home price in Manhattan Beach is over 5 times as much as Murrieta, while the median income is not even double. Interesting.
It just don't add up!
Let's get to some things that you will likely miss about LA. LA is known for 2 main things, I would say, which are Hollywood and the great weather. The coastal areas of LA have fabulously mild weather. It is 75 degrees and sunny on a typical day at the beach in LA. Murrieta gets very hot in the summer, and when it gets over 100 degrees here, we like to head to the beach where it could be as much as 20 degrees cooler. I lived near the beach for many years during college, and I can say that not only is the summer pretty mild and comfortable, but the nights are warmer than Murrieta too. We get down into the 30s and 40s in Murrieta in the evenings in the winter, which means that I'm not going outside very much at night. We don't hardly ever get snow, like one time since I've lived in Murrieta, so I'm a little bit wussy with the 30s and 40s, which are actually pretty rare for Murrieta. But as far as the summer heat goes, if you're looking at the inland areas of LA, like the LA Valley, that's going to be similar summer weather during the day to Murrieta, I would say. Moving on to entertainment. There are some fun things to do in LA that you could definitely miss if you move to Murrieta. LA has some great beaches, of course, and just has a more happening vibe overall, and it's especially fun for young people. Let's call it more of a party vibe. There's a lot of nightlife, many of the coastal towns have a fun bar scene, and even the beach is often kind of a party scene, especially if there is an event going on like a volleyball tournament. In the past, there was this annual volleyball tournament called the Six Man in Manhattan Beach that was an absolute blast, where the teams dressed up and it was actually quite competitive volleyball, but partying also. Do they even still have that tournament anymore? I heard they shut it down years ago because it was a little bit out of control. I'm curious if it's back or not. So if you want like a happening and rowdy atmosphere and you move to Murrieta, you are going to miss that because this is basically a bedroom community, and like no bars are open late that you have any business being at. Everything shuts down early here, like 9 p.m. We do have some good bar spots in the Murrieta area, but they are fewer and further in between. I will give a shout out to my favorite, which is the Hive in Wildemar. My favorite spot for a good drink, food, and music. And they're open past 9 p.m. I think 10 p.m. on the weekdays and midnight on the weekends. Not that I'm there, of course, because I have the 3 kids and the baby, remember, and the business. I basically go to the Hive for lunch these days. Back to the beach. There is no beach in Murrieta, of course, and you might miss being close to that. But if you feel like going to the beach, it's only about a 45-minute drive from Murrieta to the nearest San Diego County beach. And although you could just as easily drive to the South Orange County beaches from our area, most people I know end up going to the San Diego beaches like Carlsbad and Oceanside. There seems to be more beach parking in those towns, and it's a little bit easier of a drive, I would say. Some of my LA friends think that there is not much to do in the Murrieta area versus LA, but there is actually a ton of fun stuff to do here. I might even argue that there is more to do here than in LA. Starting with the wineries, Temecula now has over 50 wineries to choose from, and they are not just beautiful places to go wine tasting. There's a ton of entertainment there as well. Lots of concerts, nice spas and hotels, of course restaurants, horseback riding, hot air balloon ride adventures. We went to see dueling pianos not that long ago. Some of the wineries have fun events for families. One of the most popular being this winery called Peltzer Winery, where they have like a pumpkin patch for fall. They have an ice skating rink for Christmas. They have a spring fest around Easter time. Tons of fun stuff for the kids. The Temecula Valley also has large Vegas-style casinos with tons of entertainment there. As far as gambling goes, it is a world away from the LA card rooms. I used to work at some of the tribal casinos here, and they get a ton of their customers from LA and Orange County because the LA card rooms often have these wonky rules. You often have to pay commission per hand, and sometimes players bank the game, which is annoying in my opinion. Outdoor hiking and biking is something that the Murrieta Valley offers that I feel is lacking in LA. LA is pretty crowded and completely built out, so there are just not a ton of preserved areas and trails for hikers and bikers to enjoy. Murrieta is a newer community that has neighborhoods that are well planned out, and the trails are incorporated into many of the neighborhoods. There is also more open space in Murrieta, and the largest ecological preserve called the Santa Rosa Plateau, which has miles and miles of hiking trails and even seasonal waterfalls when you hike down in. The newest thing for Murrieta to offer is the Murrieta Hot Springs Resort. So there's natural hot springs in Murrieta. It was previously a Bible college. It just sold to a resort, and they're doing their soft opening currently, but you can, natural mineral hot springs, this really big, beautiful campus. I need to go check it out myself, but an awesome spa just opened in Murrieta. So that is something new that Murrieta offers as well that is hard to find. Some LA folks would miss professional sports. LA has the Dodgers, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Chargers, who are dead to me. I'm from San Diego. They have the Rams, the Kings, LA Galaxy, not to mention awesome college sports as well. Are there any USC or UCLA alumni and fans out there? Let me know below. LA also has more theater and concerts to offer, such as Pantages Theater, Broadway and Hollywood for plays, and the Staples Center for concerts and events. Our Murrieta area has one lone professional sports stadium, and that is a single-A professional baseball stadium for the Lake Elsinore Storm. They are an affiliate of the Padres. The Storm games are super fun though, and they have a nice stadium. It used to be really awesome because it was amazingly cheap with dollar beer nights where you could get dollar beers, or for $2 you could get a pretty good beer. For years they had Hangar 24 for $2 double dollar beer night, which was a steal. But like everything, it's gone up quite a bit. They say this year, spring of 2024, is going to be more like it was in the past. We shall see. A video for another day will be all the things to do within close proximity to Murrieta, because you have the beach, the desert, and the mountains all within about an hour-and-a-half drive. But we're trying to stick to local entertainment in today's video, plus this video is already getting long enough. Politics. I'm throwing this one at the end because nobody made it this far, right? I cringe when I feel the urge to mention politics, but this is important to a lot of folks, so I feel that I should say something about it. Only problem with that is that I occasionally get some rude comments no matter how neutral I try to remain on YouTube. But this is a difference between LA and Murrieta, and I'll let it speak for itself. Here is the LA map for the 2020 presidential election, a lot of blue going on there. Here is the Murrieta map, a lot of red going on there. Whether or not you will miss the politics of LA obviously depends on what side of the aisle you are on, and I'll leave it at that. How it boils down for me is that the Marietta Temecula Valley is where people move to when they're wanting to settle down, have a family, or just enjoy a slower pace of life. And if you want some of the entertainment and excitement of LA, it's just an hour to an hour-and-a-half drive away. Okay, I'm gonna hang it up here. You tell me, what did I miss? Let me know down below in the comments. Give me the pros and cons down below in the comments of moving from LA to Murrieta. As always, thanks for watching. Bye.